Hello gamers, if you're new to the channel, I have recently done a series where I went from depth 1 all the way to depth 5 in less than 14 days, purely with trios and randoms. If you're not new to the channel and you are a return viewer, hello you Chad, how are you? I have a little tip which a lot of people get caught out by when playing the Deep of Night, and it seems to happen quite a lot, and that is people getting caught out by the bosses. I'm going to call it the ultimate ability. You know, the big cinematic ability that they do like midway through the fight. You obviously can see here the Gaping Jaw does his big tornado, and you get like the Gladius who does his run, and then he's like Gnoster nuke. So I have a little tip for you on how you can prevent the whole of your team going down, because that seems to happen quite a lot. So each boss has its own unique, I'm going to call it an ultimate ability, and if you didn't know, you can actually prevent the ultimate ability from taking place. There are only some exceptions to that. Libra doesn't have an ultimate ability kind of thing. He does the summoning where he summons Condemned, and you actually can't stop that unless you stance break him in that motion, which obviously is quite rare when you're in trios. And you get the Everdark Forgore, which also doesn't have well, he has his big sleep bomb, but again, that can't be stopped unless you stance break. Now, just for clarity, every animation that a boss does can be prevented if you stance break them, but there are only a certain few actual animations where you can use your ultimate ability to stop their ultimate ability. So if that makes sense, hopefully it does. Let's get into it and you'll see exactly what I mean. I'm going to show you for each boss and which attacks can be stopped and which attacks can't be stopped. So first up, we've got the bestest doggo in the whole entire Limveld, and that is Gladius, Beast of Night. What you can do is when he forms into his singular body, rather than being in the trio, after the first two runs, you will see him essentially stop to do his big Gnoster nuke. So make sure he is standing still when you do it, but as he's standing still, fire off your ultimate ability, whether that's the Iron Eye, Radar, Wilder, or even the Big Burb, and it will stop his ultimate ability from happening. So Adele's has a really small timing, it's a really small window, but essentially once they've done their storm tantrum, I guess they'll call it, they'll drop on the floor, they'll do the big scream, and as they're still and there's nothing around them, that's when you can fire off the ult to prevent them from doing the rest of the tornado, the big tornado attack that normally takes everyone out. Next up we've got Gnoster, and it's actually a little bit different with Gnoster because his Everdark body is the red moth that obviously leaves the bodies or enters the bodies when one of them are down. You can't actually stop this big ultimate ability here, again, unless you stance break them, which you'll see in a moment, but you can stop only one of the abilities that the Animus does. As you see here, because we stance broke him, it actually prevented him from doing the charge move. This one can't be prevented, but there is actually a little trick that if you stay close to him and just run at normal pace, right underneath him, you won't actually get hit by any of his beams that he's firing at you. As you can see, you can't bring this one down. And finally, the move where he fires the nukes from the floor when he's out of the bodies, this can be prevented. Next up, we've got Everdark Forgore, and honestly, if you get this boss, just leave. Take the loss of the points, no point wasting your 40 minutes for it. Move on to the next one. But yeah, there is a little trick you can actually do. If you hit every one of these circles around him, it does actually stance break him every time. So that is a handy trick to know. As you mentioned earlier, Everdark Libra, you can't prevent him from bringing the Condemned in. The only way you can do that is if you actually stance break him before the actual animation starts. So yeah, you're better off saving your ult until the Condemned have been called in and you can use it to essentially take them out. Now you can actually stop his tantrum, so if you use your ultimate ability whilst he's in his tantrum, it will prevent him from that tantrum state. So when Caligo flies off, you can't prevent this. This is something that will happen every time. You also can't prevent it when she shoots the massive ice rocks at you, so don't even bother wasting your ult, unless you're using it to essentially iframe through the actual attack. But yeah, you cannot prevent this entire attack with an ultimate ability. Now when Caligo slips into the phase 2, she obviously turns into her Everdark phase, I guess we'll call it. This big animation cannot be prevented. You can only stop this once she's started to fly off. There are two ways you can do it. You can either obviously back up and wait till she starts to fly off and do it that way, or you can essentially stay very close to her, and as she slams her hands down, that's when you need to either run or use the iframes from the ionized dodge there. But essentially you can, as soon as she slammed her feet down and the blue aura stopped around, or the purple aura, you can prevent the attack from happening. And last but not least, Forgore, champion of the Night Glow. When he runs off in this phase here, if you time it at the correct time, you can stop him in his tracks and prevent the rest of the animation from happening. You cannot prevent the big nuke he does when he flies off into the sky. If you see that, run. So that is pretty much all I've got to say, gang. Those are all the abilities that tend to end the run if you're not paying 100% attention all of the time, and people get caught out by it so much, I've noticed. So hopefully that's helpful, and you may be able to prevent your whole team going down in your future runs if you know exactly when to prevent the boss from doing their ultimate ability. The mod I'm using for the single player mode is actually Boss Cannon by Positron Cannon. Hopefully I've said that right. It's a very good mod. If you're on PC, go and give it a try. Essentially, you just get to fight all the bosses whenever you want. You don't have to do the runs. You can add buffs and all that stuff to your weapon. It's a very good mod. You should go and check it out, and obviously give them an endorse if you do. Gamers, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Catch you on the next one. Stay safe. Big love. Peace.